Welcome back. It is not often that I agree with the far-left pundits paid by today's fake news media to slam Republicans, but when it comes to Republican Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, I find myself in total agreement with these Trump haters, albeit for very different reasons. Look at the Washington Post headline today. Kevin McCarthy's border stunt reveals a dark truth about the GOP. Well, what it really reveals is that Kevin McCarthy's trip to the border today is about diverting attention from the fact that Kevin McCarthy cozied up to fake Republican Liz Cheney as they both conspired to somehow get President Trump to resign after that January 6th security breach. It never happened, thank God. Here he is caught on tape, talking to Cheney, the weasel, who despite her denials most likely leaked this recording to the media.
And the only discussion I would have with him is that I think this will pass, and it would be my recommendation you should resign.
Oh, really? Well, I have always known Kevin McCarthy does not represent America First patriots. He does not represent limited government constitutional conservatives. What he represents is the swamp, special interest, and business as usual. See, Kevin McCarthy got busted turning his back on President Trump and all of us who support him. Here is McCarthy over the weekend, thinking all of you are a bunch of dopes, by the way. He spoke at California's GOP convention.
Do not let the media divide us. Do not let them get off topic. They can talk about everything they want to talk about, but we know what America wants. They want inflation to stop. They want gas they can afford. They want to be involved in their kids' education. They want the streets to be safe no matter where it is in the city and their schools. They want tomorrow to be better than today.
You know how you know we want those things? Because we told you we want those things. You're never really fighting for those things. We are desperate for those things. And we will never get them, okay? We will never get them back when we have phony Republicans like McCarthy pretending to fight for us, pretending they have President Trump's back when they do not. President Trump taught Kevin McCarthy and the other career Republican politicians in Washington how to fight. He taught them how to win, finally. And this is the thanks President Trump gets? When McCarthy declares, "Don't let the media divide us," he's the one who did just that. He played straight into the media's hands in those days shortly after January 6th, that security breach. When the left put so much pressure on President Trump, McCarthy fell for it all. We got this from McCarthy.
I've had it with this guy. What he did is unacceptable. Nobody can defend that, and nobody should defend it.
Well, that is a far cry from his public stance. And this is what we get from Kevin McCarthy earlier today at the southern border.
That I asked President Trump to resign. No, I never did, and that's what I was answering. If you're asking now, did I tell my members that we're going to ask them if I told any of them that I said President Trump? The answer is no. Well, I'm glad you asked that question, but what's more important than something that happened 15 months ago on a private conversation with about 4 other people is what's happening here right now.
No, what's important is the truth. See, it doesn't matter he didn't ask Trump to resign. What is clear is that he wanted President Trump to resign. And that is just as bad because it means he's a backstabber. So this trip to the border is about saving face. But if we are ever going to solve the border problem, Kevin McCarthy does not have the strength or will to fight to do it. Still, miraculously, President Trump told Kevin McCarthy he isn't mad at him. I'm not sure I believe it. And he even has President Trump's support for Speaker. This is one of the few times that I disagree with President Trump. Because when we take back the House and the Senate in November, we need real fighters that we can trust. McCarthy has never been that guy. In fact, when the leaked recordings emerged, McCarthy did what any seasoned politician would do. He called President Trump right away. Democrat Donna Brazile explained exactly why he did that.
Kevin McCarthy is afraid of Trump. He needs Trump in order to become Speaker of the House. And he's afraid of turning off his base.
Well, she's right. Another example. I never agree with her. She's right in this case. And Kevin McCarthy should be afraid. You know why? Because all of you are the deciders. Stinchfield's army. You start chanting, "No more McCarthy, fire McCarthy," at the next Trump rally, McCarthy's in big trouble. The bottom line is this. The GOP ruling class of out-of-touch elitists clearly that back themselves before they back us. I'm tired of them. This is what we're up against. Here's Texas Congressman Michael McCall in a Fox News safe space, Fox News Sunday morning.
I can tell you the support in the conference is very strong for him, and this is a little beltway bubble blips, if you will. I don't think it's going to have any long-term consequences.
Boy, I'll tell you what, I actually like Congressman McCall. I think he's a good guy. But come on, a beltway bubble blip? You cannot get more out of touch than that. To me, McCarthy caught revealing his disgust for President Trump is not a beltway blip. It's a truth bomb about what really exists in Washington. A uniparty, Democrats and Republicans working together, both sides no longer representing us.